Welcome to Rising Above It. I'm your host, Nancy Seagal. Today's topic is self-esteem, and we have a very special guest here with us. He's the World Black Belt Hall of Fame and an author. And I'd like to introduce Andrew Wilson. Hi, Andrew. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, I'm glad you could come and be a guest on our show today and talk about self-esteem as well as the martial arts and your books that you've written.
Be happy to, absolutely.
Okay, great. So tell us, who is Andrew Wilson?
Well, it's funny you asked that because I'm actually working on another book called Who the Heck is Andy Wilson by Andrew Wilson. Well, I've kind of been there, done that type of person. And when you ask me that, it covers so many variables. I look at myself as normal. My friends look at me as, abnormal in a fun way. But I've done a lot, and I've been through a lot. We all have been there. Mm-hmm. We haven't done as much as I have. Some people haven't been through what I've been through, and I don't have the experience that others have been through. But as an individual, I personally have learned to pretty much rise above it. I've had some bad things happen. I've had a lot of the good. And I believe that the bad happens because the result of the good is a much better. Mm-hmm. And it always turns out for the best. And with that, I'm happy with it. See, I know how to get over things. Some mm-hmm. people don't. With that said, I try to be bubbly and upbeat. It's just kind of my personality. And I have fun with life. And
have you carried this with you throughout your life?
It's interesting because even as a child, of course, they like to give children labels. Mm-hmm. They didn't know what ADD was when I was little, and I refused to accept that. But I was always bubbly and very outgoing and had a lot of energy. And it's great. And, Einstein and Edison, I believe at the Edison Museum today, there's a note that still hangs in the museum that says, you will never make anything out of yourself. You're too busy, too active. And so he always kept that note. It's something along, I'm not mm-hmm. sure exactly what the note says. But as a child, we go through stages, and you need the right people to be there and to guide them and to motivate them. But to answer your question, yeah, I've always kind of been, excitable and fun and adventurous. And it's just who I am. It's just part of my DNA. And that's what, keeps me happy and keeps me going, I guess.
Great. So what are some of the adversities that you've encountered at an early age of your life?
Wow. I call it stepmother syndrome.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Anybody have a stepmother here that they can talk about? Wowie. Well, my mother had to put me up for adoption when I was little. My father was Jewish, my mother was Catholic, so she had to find the perfect mom and dad, and it was the right thing for her to do at that particular point in her life. And she found, Father Louis and Mother Mary. And gosh, I'm telling you, that woman had more in common with Joan Crawford than Joan Crawford had in common with herself. But yeah, she was an interesting part of my childhood, and the dysfunctional part of me, no. But a lot of adversity stemmed as a result of being adopted mm-hmm. and being sent to different schools,
Mm-hmm. How did that affect your self-esteem?
Well, at an early age, I didn't know what self-esteem was, and I had a twin brother, okay. And so we played off each other. And whenever the evil ruler, would put us in our room or play Joan Crawford on us, we always had each other to bounce things off of. And as a result of having a twin, man, that was great. I mean, because you could make stepmother jokes, you had somebody to joke with,
yeah.
Not like the cat.
To relieve some of the stress that, given that situation.
Absolutely, yeah. And my case was nothing compared to what some people have been through. Mm-hmm. But, I had my share of the pudding, but she was a pretty wicked person, to be honest with you. I mean, really, her and Joan Crawford, pretty hard. They actually looked alike. Me and my brother saw this movie when we were little called, I can't remember the name. Lizzie Borden. And we went to bed scared thinking, oh my God, that's our mother. 40 whacks and saw what she had done, gave her husband 41. Mm-hmm. And so that was quite intimidating. But yeah, it was a pretty scary event growing up. It really was scary. I mean,
Like, what were some of the things that you encountered?
well, I mean, you know, she'd probably go to jail today, but when we got chapped lips, she would put Tabasco sauce in our mouth. She'd make me kneel in the snow and then, you know, crawl through the backyard on my knees. I'm sorry, Mommy. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Mommy. I mean, that's kind of torturous thing to do.
Yeah,
You know, I have a
exactly, for
daughter, and
children,
she's
yeah.
like, oh, the best in the world. And I just treated her with so much love, and she grew up well and wonderful.
Good.
You know,
Well-adjusted and-
well-adjusted, very together kind of chick, and really has it together.
What can you attribute your stability, mental stability, what can you attribute to that? Because growing up in a situation where somebody is abusive affects your self-esteem, it affects a lot of areas of your life. And what do you attribute to growing up? And obviously you've been very successful.
You know, I think one of the major secrets or things that to answer that question was just being determined, determined to win. There was always that competitive nature in me. And one good thing about I joke when I say this, but one good thing about the battle axe is that when she went to hit me, I'd always go, put my hand up. I go,
So you got good practice.
you know, I go, wow, you know, and after a while, I got real good at that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know, but to answer your question, I just made a determined effort just to be happy. You know, it was in my DNA. Okay, I don't know if it's that I'm a loving Pisces, or if it's just that. I overcome stuff. I've been through some really bad stuff. That was just the childhood stuff.
Okay.
But I mean, the enemy of our souls, enemy of our good karma, whatever phrase people want to use. Man, I'm telling you, there's some things that can really happen that can really test you. And you know, people look at me, oh, you're always so happy. Oh, no, you don't know the other side of me, and you don't know what I've been through. I choose to be happy.
Right. And it is a choice.
And happiness is a choice. I got over it. I went through some really bad times, and my best friend said, you know, when I really needed the best advice, or if I was in whine mode, and instead of giving me what I wanted to hear, he was a hardcore, just on, you know, in your face truth. And he said, Andy, you just got to get over it. And you know what? Those are the best 3 words I ever heard. And I did. But as I grew going through life, I was able to get over it, you know, things that have happened. And then when I went through some real adversities, I always remembered that. Of course, now I give that advice, get over it. They don't like it either, but they need to get over it.
Nobody likes it, but you've got to hear it.
But we do. We must get over it. We must survive, and we must choose to be happy.
Okay, great advice. Now, you've been a graduate of Father Flanagan's Boys Town in Nebraska. And there was an actor, Spencer Tracy, who played that part. He won an award for that.
Yeah,
Best
he won
actor.
the Oscar, Best Actor, or whatever.
What was your experience?
Well, my experience, you know, in Boys Town was probably one of the best experiences of my life. And they showed the movie every year, so I think I know the whole movie by heart now. But you know, we got to see the movie every year. But it was very touching and very unique that I actually got to go to Boys Town. And little did I know that that was going to forge a very strong foundation for me for many roads and many travels, and would open up many doors for me.
Okay.
But it was really neat going to Boys Town. I learned gymnastics when I was at Boys Town. I was a junior Olympic state champion.
Wow.
And so that gave me a lot of, what do you call it, self-esteem. I was very motivated. Wow, I found something I could do. Because when I was younger and I did cartwheel on the neighbor's yard, they always got mad. Well, now I had a chance to win and bring honor to my school. But as a result of going to Boys Town, I actually met the very first boy at Boys Town, William Sudica. He wrote me some letters. I have letters that he had written me. And
He was the very first boy.
the very
in
first boy.
Boys Town.
When you watch the movie, Father Flanagan's Boys Town, in the movie he picks up these 2 boys and he writes them back. And the first boy he grabs, he winds up giving some chocolates to or something like that. And sure enough, I was looking at the Father Flanagan statue. Me and my twin brother were playing on the statue. And this old man is watching us. And my brother's name was Danny. I go, hey, Danny, this old guy's over there checking us out. You know, we didn't know who he was, you know. Well, he came up and he introduced himself. We found out he was the very first boy at Boys Town. So that was just very amazing. He shared some wonderful stories about Father Flanagan, on, you know, on how there's a theme that says, he ain't heavy, he's my brother. He told me how that came about, how a boy had carried his brother on his back. And when he got to the door and said, I need a place to stay, and Father Flanagan said, wow, he must be heavy. He goes, no, he ain't heavy, he's my brother. And so he shared that with us because we're brothers and all that.
Right.
And so that was kind of neat. And I felt very special, very honored I got to meet him. And I write about him in my book.
Okay. Now, with your brother, did he also go on to achieve?
We were kind of the yin and the yang. I was, I think, a little bit more disciplined, and he was kind of off the cuff, which is okay, you know, very impromptu. He didn't vote as much time, but we did very well together. You know, we were combatants and we were competitively aggressive against each other. It made us better in athletics. He was a gymnast, also did very well, won a number of medals, won the gold medal also. He beat me. I still hate him to this day for that. Oh my gosh, the one time I lose to my brother. But I mean, if you're going to lose to somebody, you might as well lose to your twin brother.
Yeah.
And so that was wonderful. But I won the gold in another event, so that was cool. But yeah, he did. And he also pursued martial arts himself. And he was very disciplined as far as stretching and some of the deadlier techniques, the spinning back kicks. And you know, he just wanted to get the fight over really quick. And me, I wanted to learn the art and become competitive. You know, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to touch on the martial arts part in a few minutes, but before we do, I want to ask you about your experience in the Navy. You've served in the Navy, and so what was the best and the worst experiences that you had?
It's funny you asked that. Well, the worst experience was the day that I joined, and the best was the day that I got out. No, well, what happened was, because of being a gymnast, I had an offer to go to Annapolis, Maryland, officer candidate school. But Joan Crawford, also known as stepmother, said, well, I'll get you in the Navy. And so she brings me down, gets me talking to the recruiters. I take my test and do all that. I aced my test, I guess. And so they gave me whatever choice I want and became a medic in the Navy. It was wonderful. I had a great time in the Navy, but I wasn't supposed to be enlisted. I was supposed to be an officer. And because of winning at the Nationals, I was a very high caliber. I was a very good candidate for the Naval Gymnastics team. Well, stepmommy didn't understand that, and she was a little messed up in the head, I think. Oh, I say that jokingly. I love her to death, but good Lordy. So I was very frustrated. When I get into boot camp, I'm thinking, okay, well, when do I get to try out for the Navy Gymnastics team? And they laughed.
No.
But I had some good experiences, and my favorite experience in there was working with Captain Grimsley. Me and Captain were the best of friends, and he had written me a letter that just let my daughter read it. And he was from Georgia, and he kind of talked like this. And Andy, I want you to know you're one of the finest experiences I've ever had in the naval, as far as my naval days, you know. And so I got a couple letters from him. We've stayed in communication with each other. And he just recently passed away. He was offered a rear admiral position, and he turned it down and, you know, retired. But he was the best experience of the Navy. Really made my, you know, my Navy days just so much fun. We spent so much time laughing. Oh man! But anyway, and, you know, so that was pretty cool.
And given the experience of being in the Navy, how did that affect you and your self-esteem? And did it enhance it? Did it?
Yeah,
it must have been disappointing to not be able to enter into the gymnastics.
Yeah, that was really frustrating for me. But being in the Navy is kind of fun. You got a lot of guys around, and then you got the competitiveness. You know, and being in the Navy is when I was introduced to martial arts.
Okay,
and,
which is my next question.
Yeah.
And in a moment, we're going to show a few photos of you doing the martial arts. But before we do, yeah, let's go into what caused you to get into the martial arts.
Yeah, well, I think the root cause of it was the punch in the mouth when I was like 14 and a half, and I'll never forget his name, Rodney. He hit me so hard I woke up, which meant I got knocked out. And, you know, every kid, every guy is very attracted to the martial arts. It's just fun. If you can't do it, you know, they want to brag about, oh, yeah, I know a little bit of that stuff, or they just enjoy watching it. Being a gymnast, I had all the flexibility and all the requirements that were needed to become good in martial arts. And so that helped me with my self-esteem and my desire. And I was introduced to the martial arts by a teacher in Boys Town that showed me how to break a board. And I actually broke a board, and man, I thought I was the coolest thing on 2 feet. And so I had saw a martial arts demo while at Boys Town, and then when I joined the Navy, I got real interested, and I was trained by some Green Berets and some people that were actually trained under Masuyama, the legend of Japan. And that was very exciting for me. And he says, "You can kick higher than my instructor." I go, "Really?" Well, see, I was a gymnast, so my leg can go straight up. And when some people were teasing me, when you go to Boys Town, you're doing gymnastics, you know, the only thing you're missing is a pink tutu. So, you know, doing the splits, oh, that was so girly. But what happened was it turned very deadly because the fact that I was able to do martial arts. When I did spar with my instructor, actually the first time, I actually knocked him down to the floor with a spinning kick. I didn't really know what I was doing. But I was so flexible, he never expected it. Of course, he pulverized me. I went, "Owie, owie, stop." You know, he goes, "You come to make fun of me, don't you?" I go, "No, I really don't know this stuff. I just have flexible legs, man. Like, back off, vampire." Anyway, it was kind of funny.
While you were doing gymnastics, this raises an interesting question, did you get teased a lot for being a gymnast? Because some other people would view that as
like a sissy sport.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people would kind of tease me, but the great thing is that I had the biggest, fastest, toughest, strongest, meanest gymnastics coach in the history of the world. And so nobody like messed with me.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he was so cool.
Well,
he was a track runner. He actually beat Bob Hayes back in the day.
Bob Hayes is?
Bob Hayes was a fast runner. He had set the world record or something like that at one time. And he was a runner from one of the football teams, I believe Dallas or something. But my coach had actually beat him, and nobody in my school could beat him, not even the state champion. At the time, he was state champion in high school, but he still couldn't beat my coach, Otis Perry, who could run like the wind. Man, that guy was good.
Okay.
He was very funny. We got along great, but he was very tough and supported me, encouraged me, and really built my self-esteem. It was Coach Perry and Boys Town that really laid that foundation for the future, yeah.
Real quickly, what would you give advice for other children that are going through tough times, and or to parents to help children with their self-esteem?
You know, it depends where they're being intimidated. If it's a bully situation, go to the authorities immediately. Just, you know, I would tell my coach if I had some issues, oh, coach would take care of it. He'd nip it in the bud. And I told my daughter the same thing. You ever have any problems? And she did. I nipped it in the bud. And, you know, it's the right thing to do. It's not a mean thing to do. And by nature, children feel intimidated. But we have that power within us to overcome it. It's just making the right choices. A, choose to overcome it. B, get reinforcement. I mean, hello, you're in the little club. You know, get the bigger club to help you. End of story. Right. And I learned that. And by learning that, it helped me. And then I was actually able to help other kids that were being picked on, too. So that was kind of cool.
Right. That's great. So let's go ahead and bring up the first photo that we have of you in the martial arts. There we go. So tell us about this photo.
Wow. I could actually jump. That was pretty high there. That's my instructor, one of my instructors. He was my instructor in Muay Thai kickboxing, Jim Bryan, from Winter Haven, Florida. And we were doing a photo shoot because I was planning on going out to California to become famous or something. And so we needed a nice photo, and I just kind of jumped up in the air. We did that kick about 6 or 7 times, and we had a camera on a tripod, and it just caught it perfect. But we used that photo years later, unbeknown to me at the time. I was going to be inducted in the World Black Belt Hall of Fame in Malaysia, and that was the official photo used, yeah.
Okay, and let's bring up the second photo. Tell us about this one.
That was me doing a demonstration for Ed Parker at the 1983 International Championships. If you look real close, you'll see I'm blindfolded, and at the time I had the highest kick from the ground. It was like, they gave me credit for 11.5 feet. That was a 2-foot board. And I did a blindfold demo and broke the board.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I landed right on the edge of the stage, and Linda Lee was right there in the audience, Bruce Lee's wife.
Really?
She actually signed the board for me, yeah.
Wow.
Very cool.
Exciting.
Yeah, that was
So
pretty
how long did it take you, how many years did it take you to get to that level?
Well,
And what was your training like?
well, the training was pretty difficult. I was trained by a Japanese stylist under Masuyama. I was trained by Jim Bryan, Muay Thai kickboxing. I'd done a lot of work in weapons. I had wrestling, judo, a lot of different arts. But because of my flexibility and my, boy, how would you refer to, I was a nonconformist. Very much thought like Bruce Lee. I idolized him. I saw his movie, Enter the Dragon, which kind of like, jazzed me, man. Like, whoa, dude, like I'm digging this stuff. So I had to learn it, It took me all the training in gymnastics and then the training in wushu kung fu. And then I just put the combination together. But doing it blindfolded, I think that was a result of insanity. No, was actually just really knowing my body and just doing it right. Because they were tapping on the board. And when I did that break, by the way, it raised a whole bar for competition. Now, and when they announced me going in the Hall of Fame in Las Vegas for the Black Belt, World Black Belt Hall of Fame or something like that, they were making the announcement. My daughter was there. And the guy making the announcement was actually the same announcer for when I did the board break.
Wow.
And he mentioned my name.
Did he remember you?
He remembered me because he goes, Andy Wilson. Oh, I remember that guy. Oh my gosh, he was so cool. And I was laughing. I go, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know that he remembered me or anything. But then afterwards he told me, yeah, he goes, I was the announcer when you did that break. He goes, you were the one that you're responsible for raising the bar on weapons and competition. He goes, it's amazing. Everybody wanted to be like you. I didn't know that. I just was having fun with it,
That's great.
Yeah.
Let's bring up the next photo. And
that's when I didn't get my hair cut. I'm the guy on the left. That's me and Eric.
that says Wilson, the black and white.
Yeah, Wilson, yeah. That was the 10-year anniversary issue of Fighting Stars magazine, and that was Eric Lee, a very good friend of mine. He had been in the magazine a number of times, and we were very good friends. And at the time, I was the spokesperson for the World of Bruce Lee Museum in Hollywood. And I worked with Norman Boreen, which had all of Bruce Lee's art, items, artifacts. He actually gave me one of the medals that Bruce had, and I still have it with my awards and stuff. But Eric, me and him did a lot of demos together, and we did a thing for the, World of Bruce Lee Museum, and then I'd asked him to be on the cover. So that was kind of neat, yeah. I was very honored by that, by the way.
It's a great photo. Okay, there we go. It's official.
It's official, yay! The Nancy Seagal show.
No.
Well, yeah, that's when I was inducted in the Hall of Fame in Malaysia. And that was, I have to tell you, I've got a lot of honors, different awards and stuff. I felt I kind of felt accomplished. I never really went after egos. A lot of people say, if I approached you in the street, you would never come off like a 9th degree black belt or somebody that was inducted in the Hall of Fame. But that was very unique day for me because they inducted me, Bruce Lee, and Shi Diquan, who's the president of the Shaolin Temple in China. So they're like 3 Kung Fu dudes got inducted in the Hall of Fame. And to be inducted in the Hall of Fame with Bruce Lee the same day, I mean, it was like, whoa,
Well,
that was
I'm
cool.
honored to have you here on the show.
I'm honored to be here. No, thank you. Really, it was fun, and they had great food over there too, by the way.
I would imagine.
Yeah, piles of food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you eat a lot?
I mean, they had us all at the table, and they brought one fish after another. It was great. It was a lot of fish. Yeah.
We won't get into the fish part.
Yum.
Okay, here we go. Another.
Oh, there we are. The only one missing, I guess, is Bruce. Those 3 in the middle are the executives for the World Black Belt Hall of Fame, and the guy to the far right is Shi Diquan. He's written about 27 books and president of the Shaolin Temple. He's like a walking monument in China. And, and there I am.
And there you are.
Little Andy.
Off to the left.
To the far left, yeah.
Great.
Hi, Andy.
Very exciting. What was that? What did you experience that day?
It was really cool. When you go to, I've been to a lot of different places, and I've been all over the world, and that was a unique event because the country of Malaysia had red carpeted everything for me and Shi Diquan. and the members being put into the Hall of Fame, and I was very honored, very blessed. It was kind of a capstone of your achievement. We compete in life just to survive. Some people just try to survive, and it's hard doing that, and the martial art teaches you how to overcome that, and it gives you that self-esteem. It's not the only thing it gives you. It helps you overcome a lot of the adversities in life. And I was very blessed to have been a part of that, but to have been inducted in the World Black Belt Hall of Fame with Bruce Lee and Shi Quan was like, are you sure you got the right Andy Wilson? Yes.
It's just amazing. You've made history.
Yeah. I want to cry right now. No, no, really, it is true. It was. I was very blessed, and but there was a number of things. I enjoy doing what I do, and I have fun doing it. Some people get too wrapped up in egos when they're martial artists. They look at me, and I go, yeah, quit eating so much. No, I'm just kidding. But no, some martial artists, when they get to a particular level, they just stop exercising, they stop practicing, and I never bought into the ego package. I just never did. I was always me. Ed Parker, Elvis's trainer, the father of American karate, he asked me to do a demonstration at the International Championships 5 years in a row. And a lot of people were jealous. And I asked Ed, I go, Ed, how come you always ask me to do demos? And I'll never forget what he told me. He invited me over to the house, in Pasadena, and he said, because people like you. He goes, you're fun and you're hysterical. And he goes, you don't act like you're full of egos. He goes, too many people have egos. And that's why me and Elvis got along so good. And Elvis gave him his cape. I have a picture of me with Ed Parker in front of Elvis's cape. And so that was really nice. Coming from Ed, he told me, he says, no, you have a lot of fun with people. And he goes, you don't have any egos attached. He goes, you're confident what you do, and you're a lot of fun. And I don't find that with martial artists. And he goes, so that's why.
But still in your classes, I would imagine you still have to be laser
very focused, yes.
And disciplined and right on target, obviously.
Yeah.
So, do you teach children at all?
I did. I don't anymore. I spend my life fishing and writing books now. No, when I don't catch very much either. But get me wrong, kids. I just have a blast. I just love kids. When there's a birthday party or something, it's like, oh my God, where are all the kids? They're with Andy. I'm having a lot of fun. But yeah, I enjoy teaching, but more of a one-on-one now. I don't really, give full commitment to it now. I just, if somebody wants to, teach wants me to teach them private lessons, I'll be happy to.
Okay. So, since our subject today is self-esteem, and the martial arts tie right into that because you have to have self-esteem in order to be competitive and succeed with it. What advice, what can you share with the viewers connecting the emotional and the physical combating and how that can relate and play into a person in everyday life? Okay,
the first lesson is patience. Always have patience because everybody wants it to come real fast and real quick. Be confident in what you can do, not in what you cannot do. And eventually, the can-dos will overcome the can'ts. And everybody will achieve the level that's required for them to find that level of self-esteem. And that's probably the best advice that I could really give anybody. Because a person, for example, who is a very large, overweight person, for example, he won't be able to do as much as that wiry little guy that can kick and do everything. So everyone takes it at their pace. Be patient. Set goals. The problem is people don't set goals. They have no goals. They don't even have them in their head, so they can't get them on the paper. You set goals, and it will help you. When you find that you can achieve a certain level, that's going to give you self-esteem. Then you go to the next level, and you just keep working, little by little by little. But then, when you get to that level where you've achieved something, and then you have the naysayers, oh, good, now they're coming out of the closet. You've achieved what you wanted to, and you're good at what you do. Now you're going to get the people coming going, and they'll assault you verbally.
Oh, you're not that good.
Yeah, oh, you're not that good. Oh, so that's why I learned never to brag and not to have any egos, because there's always someone that'll just knock your lights out. I mean, I don't care what rank I am or how good I've become. There's always somebody you have to be ready for. You know, if I'm approached on the street, I just don't look like, you know, a 9th degree black belt or somebody's been inducted in the Hall of Fame.
You would never have
No. What they don't realize, I can kick over, you know, 6 foot, 6 inches high with my foot and snap of a finger. And snap somebody's neck really quick. Now, they don't know that as I'm laughing doing it. But the thing is that when you get good, you're always going to have something, oh, you're not that good. Oh, please, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to mess with you if I knew that.
No, you can always pepper spray me. That works pretty good. You know, that's good stuff, you know. That works pretty good.
We won't do that.
No.
So, okay, let's go back to the events in your life. And what was the most life-changing for you?
Well, there was a lot of life-changing events. Man, you know, you have to get over things. One of was my brother passed away. My twin brother passed away. That was a very life-changing event for me.
And what age was that?
I was 38 years of age,
Okay.
and being a twin, you know, I was communicating, and unfortunately, he passed away. And then someone very close to me said, "Oh, just what was it? Oh, that's probably the best thing that ever happened." Because they didn't want me communicating with them. And I thought, how selfish. They didn't want me sending him stuff. And unfortunately, my brother had taken a different path and wound up in jail.
Okay.
I would send him stuff. He would call collect. My brother died in jail. And so, you know, now you know why she's the ex-wife. No, but she said, well, maybe that's the best thing could have happened. But it was a selfish statement. It was a very selfish statement. And you know, you don't say that to somebody. And so that was a very life-changing event. And 3 years after, 3 days after we were married, she said, well, if you go into the ministry, I'll divorce you. I was offered a job as a pastor in the church, assistant pastor. And so, you know, those were life-changing events. We all go through life-changing events, you know. And, you know, there's really too many to mention, but I mean, I've had some doozies. I mean, I lost a baby. My baby died at birth. My brother died. I went through the divorce. That was bad. When I thought that I had found, you know, the person that was going to be my little yummy, my love for my life, you know, she crashed on our wedding day. I mean, talk about, you know,
You've had some,
had some real doozies,
yeah, right.
you know, and I learned to get over it, you know, and that was a pretty sad event. And you have a lot of them, you know. Oh, I mean, gosh, people can get fired from their jobs. You know, their best friend betrays them. They go through divorce. They lose people. But you know what? You choose to get over it. You choose to move on. You know, the guy that never did anything wrong wound up dying on a cross, you know. You know, he got over it big time, really, really pissed off the devil. But, you know, the thing is, we do get over stuff, you know, we do. We get over it, and you have to choose to do that. And, you know, with life-changing events, everybody has different levels. I mean, some people have had some really bad stuff, you know. And then there's guys that have lost both legs and both arms. And you're thinking, oh, what's he going to do with his life? And he winds up marrying a babe. It was just recently. He was on the Dr. Phil show or something like that.
You just never know what life holds for you.
You never know what's going to life.
You know, I often look at my own life. I've been through a lot in my childhood. I've been through the mercury poisoning for all those years. And here I am having a TV show.
Healthy and happy.
Healthy and happy and working. And
wow.
I would have never, you know, dreamed having, you know, being on TV and you know, sharing this with audiences. And
yeah, isn't that something? Why? Because you got over it.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, those three words.
And I got through it. I got through it, and then I got over it.
And then you got over it. Yeah, that's. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get through it, and whatever it takes. Sometimes you have to cry it out. Sometimes you laugh it out. Sometimes you just endure it, and it's painful. Look, it is painful, and we have every right to endure that pain.
And there's no time limit on it either.
No,
it could be a lifetime, or it could be a matter of a day or an hour or so, and there's no time limit on it. So
Yeah.
people need to understand that as
This
well.
is true. This is true. Yeah.
And having a healthy self-esteem goes a long way.
Boy, it really
on
does.
top of it.
Yeah, and you learn through conquering life's demons or life experiences that are bad. You develop that, and bad stuff happens. Well, so does good stuff. All things work for good. All things work for good.
Yes, I agree. Now, when did you realize you had the potential within you?
Well, depending on what that's focused on, but as far as the martial arts go, I knew that after about a year of training, that when these two guys tried to jump me in the alley in Florida, and my girlfriend Wanda was in the car, and I knocked them both out. I got out of the car to kind of talk, and they didn't want to talk, and so I just kind of filleted them. I mean, I really nailed them. Oh my gosh, I kicked that guy so hard. But when that worked, it was the first fight I ever gotten into. I went, woohoo, it works.
It was real life stuff.
Yeah, it was real life stuff. And then I got jumped in a bar. I had not jumped. Guy had pushed. There's Wanda again. They pushed her, poor Wanda, but they had actually pushed her in a dance. And, after the dance was over, and these 6 guys get around me because I told the guy to apologize, and they had been drinking too much. Well, I actually knocked out 5 of them.
Okay.
The only reason I did that was because my brother was there to back me up, but he didn't have a chance. He goes, man, you were like Bruce Lee. You were all, oh, it was crazy. But yeah, I knocked out 5 of them. But I realized then, man, this stuff really works.
Yeah, you don't really want to take action and see if it does work. You don't want to be in a circumstance like that.
No, I was really scared, and the manager of the club, he watched me at the gym every day, so he didn't come over to break it up. He wanted to see what I could do. Afterwards, he tells me this. Oh, thanks. But anyway, it kind of told me, wow, man, I guess I'm really good at this or something, because they were all literally unconscious, and I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
It happened so fast, I just, wow, yeah.
That's
Owie.
Yeah, something I wouldn't want to find out.
Yeah.
Now, what valuable lessons have you learned that you could help other people with?
Well, number one, never underestimate the opponent, and never underestimate your ability to rise above it, if I can steal that phrase,
Absolutely.
or to get over it, because we all have it within us. And then, if we don't have it within us, there's always that person like me that has overcome it that will convince you. So you had it in you all along. You just needed somebody like me to tell you. So, get over it and get through it, and then get over it, and you have risen above it. And so that really would be the formula.
Okay.
Or a formula.
Yes, I agree. Now, you've been through extraordinary circumstances that have landed you in the path that you've chosen. And what do you attribute to that? What do you attribute to your success and to what you're doing right now with your life?
Fate. What an amazing character. I mentioned him in my book. He's one of the characters, in my book that I mentioned. Fate has a lot to do with it. Sometimes you have to deal with the cards that you're handed. I have been very fortunate. I mean, I've met 2 presidents. I've had an audience with the Pope. I've interacted and worked with Michael Jackson. I've met Neil Armstrong. He gave me an autographed picture and sent me a bunch of original photos. I'm laughing, going, fate opens the door to many things, and I believe fate really deserves the credit. And for whatever reason, a number of people said, Andy, you got to write a book. Well, the ego in me said, no, I don't want to show off. I don't want to brag. The reason is because I didn't want to write something, or I didn't want to use my own experiences. Because I didn't want any egos attached to it. And my friend said, no, you don't understand. It's because of who you are and because of what's happened and because of the path that you've landed on that has really opened a lot of doors. And people want to know about that, They closed off Hollywood Boulevard because of the Broken Heart Stone, because of you, because of what you had. And so they actually had to close off Hollywood Boulevard to place Michael's handprints and footprints.
If we can quickly touch on that before we go talk about your books. Share us the story about
well, that was interesting.
Michael Jackson.
In 2009, I had 2 students that I was training, and I brought them to the World Championships. I did not want to compete. but I was motivated to compete, and I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to compete and see how I do. Well, I wound up winning first place. Again, you know, it was the only division that I had never won, the Masters Weapons Black Belt competition at the World Championships in Las Vegas. And the funny thing is I had produced and directed the tournament, what, 6 or 7 years earlier. So I never had any plans of competing. Well, here I wound up competing. I'm on stage, winning first place in the Masters division. And it was great because the people that were competing were much younger than me, they're actually over 40, you know, which means I'm just slightly over 40. But one of the guys from Neverland recognized me and said, oh man, Andy, guess what? And you know, and he said, come here, I got to talk to you. And he said, we found this thing in the basement and they're getting ready to sell it. I said, sell what? What are you talking about? I go, Michael's handprint, Michael's footprint, Michael's autograph. I go, oh, I'll take it. So I wound up getting it, and wow. I mean, the clip will show that on the news there.
Okay. We can bring up that clip on the YouTube. There's also some photos that we can share. There we go, Michael Jackson.
There he is signing it. Yeah, and that was in 1984. Ironically, Michael put his footprint, handprint, and autograph in cement the very last week of June, and he died the very last week of June. That was very unique. Yeah. And his handprint, when Michael put his handprint.
Yeah, and that's the stone.
No. That's actually not the stone.
No.
That's the stone that the children did. Oh, by the way, I got those 2 posters. They gave those to the family, everybody. They gave me those posters. So they're worth quite a bit now. But there it is. There's the actual handprint of Michael. Look at his hand. You see the heart?
That's interesting.
And that's amazing. You see the heart in his hand, and you see the actual heart, and there's a crack going right through his hand. Of all the people in the world, Michael's, you know, has a crack going. The only star on Hollywood Boulevard that has a crack in it is Michael's.
Interesting.
Very bizarre, very surreal, huh?
Yeah, it is.
And there's a guy that got over a lot. He had thick skin, loved everybody, and became a victim of attack by the media. I mean, they just, you know, and I knew Michael. When I was going through the divorce, my wife was accusing me of improper relationship with my daughter. Oh, please. You know, I mean, they accuse you of everything just to try to win the case. And Michael had thick skin. And I actually got to meet the lady who was originally assigned to prosecute. And she said, you're going to win this case, Michael. There's no evidence. The lady that worked for the attorney of the father that claimed that he did, you know, X number of things, has written a book, and now they're getting ready to make a movie, and the father of the child, who was really doing it, I believe, for the money, wound up committing suicide, and even the son wanted to tell Catherine it never happened. So you see, we go through life, and you're faced with all these challenges and false accusations. People make these claims. Let it go in one ear and out the other.
Okay, so going back to the stone, you received possession of it, correct?
Yes, yes. I knew that somebody from Saudi Arabia wanted to, you know, to get it, buy it, whatever. So I had a Rolls Royce. Oh, I miss my Angel. It was a white Rolls Royce. We named it Angel. So I named it Angel. Anyway, I had to sell it because I needed to intercept it. So I was able to intercept it, and then I just kept it. And I didn't want to let it go. I felt it belonged here in the United States. And then when I discovered that Paris actually wore a necklace with a broken heart on it and put the other one on Michael while he was in the casket. And so she wore a broken heart, and he had a broken heart. Now, they didn't even know about the broken heart stone at the time.
Oh, interesting.
They didn't know, nobody knew about it. This thing was dead and gone for, what, over 2 decades, 23 years. It was buried in the basement. When they approached me, I said, I want it. They were going to give it away in a raffle. One guy would want it. He was afraid his wife would run over it in the garage, so they asked me. I go, yeah, I'll take it. Heck yeah. So I had to intercept it. I bought it. But how surreal life is to get the broken heart stone from the most famous entertainer, the greatest entertainer of all time, a guy that himself had endured much, you know, pain and heartbreak, and then I wind up getting it, and they close up Hollywood Boulevard for the sake of laying the stone. So the stone now sits out in front of the Chinese Theater in Hollywood. It was originally in the basement of Vegas, got in my possession. I cleaned it up and gave it back to the family because I felt it was the right thing to do.
Okay. We have the video clip that you were featured on, or that was featured on the local station in Santa Maria.
Santa Maria, yes.
We can pull that up.
Jackson memorabilia. It's being called the Broken Heart Stone, and there's quite a story behind it. It was actually lost for more than 2 decades before being found again. Monica Quintero introduces us to the local man who has now put a special stone up for auction.
The king of pop at the top of his career. The Thriller album won Michael Jackson 8 Grammys. His career seemed unstoppable, and during that time, the pop star also created this.
I really believe it's something that the world should see.
It's a 500-pound cement slab dated June 1984 and features a handprint, footprints, and autograph of Michael Jackson.
At the right place at the right time.
This former 5-time international kung fu champion and Santa Maria resident had formed a business relationship with Jackson.
Well, I was very supportive of him during the trial.
Andrew Wilson wrote a letter of support for Jackson to a local newspaper.
I got word back from the people at Neverland that Michael had seen it and was very pleased about it.
Wilson says that twist of fate came on the day Jackson died. He arrived in Las Vegas and ran into some of those same people.
The people from Neverland remembered me, knew me, and said, oh my gosh, I think Michael would love for you to have this.
They put him in contact with the then owner of the impression. Originally, it was made for the Walk of Fame project for the city of Las Vegas, but that never materialized. So what's shocking, the stone stayed hidden in the basement of the Riviera Hotel for more than 2 decades before being sold.
You can actually look at his hand, and you can actually see the heart print.
The left palm print features a heart-shaped design with a crack running through it. That's how the name the Broken Heart Stone came about.
The broken heart represents not only Michael, but the fans that loved him and his quick and immediate passing. I think it's kind of a statement to the world that, yeah, I died with a broken heart. I have fans who have a broken heart because of me.
It's a one-of-a-kind tribute, now up for grabs. A very unique...
Okay, so...
That's amazing, yeah. I mean, it's a unique artifact, and we originally had considered putting it up for auction, but we didn't want it to leave the country, even though we had offers from out of the country. Then when I heard that Paris had put the broken heart on Michael, and she wore a broken heart, I go, you know, this belongs to the family. So then I approached Catherine. I met with Joe Jackson and Catherine and LaToya and the family during the Dr. Murray trial. And then we worked with the estate, and now the estate took possession of it. It's now out in front of the Chinese theater.
Great.
So the whole world can see it.
Great.
Yay. And it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. Good. Okay, let's talk about your book. Actually, you have 2 books. One is The Angels of War, and that deals with the true story of a woman involved with the occult and a victim of her family's lifestyle.
Yeah, that was.
How did that come about?
Well, it was a lady who was being interviewed on a talk show, and all these funny little voices came out of her. And I called the show and said, "Can you send me a copy of it? I want to get it into the LA Times." And they made a mistake and sent me the original when they went off the air. So all these voices, you know, and the curses that were put on the family through generational curses on the family came through, and I'm telling you, it was so scary. I sat on that thing for 13 years, you know, didn't want to touch it.
We have a photo of that, the cover of that book also, too. If you can pull that up, and you can go ahead and...
But yeah, it was a pretty interesting story, but very scary. But now it's in a script form, and we're working with a company, and actually the radio host, if he'd be willing to deal with us, it'd be nice to somehow take this story public.
And this is The Game of Life?
Yeah.
And tell us about The Game of Life.
Well, The Game of Life, many people have asked me, they said, Andy, how do you overcome? How do you do all this stuff? You know, because the number of things I've done, I said, you know, I don't know. And I said, you know, it's almost like a game of chess. And so what I did was I took the game of chess and I wrote a book on allegory. And the main character, one of the characters is Fate. He meets Student, who meets the chess king, and the chess king explains the game of life if he passes the test. And so I explain the game of life through the king, the queen, the knight, and the bishop, and the pawn. And it's a very unique story, and I had a very big investor and a guy that works with a billion-dollar company said, Andy, this is one of the best books I've ever read. And now I also have it on audio, and it's going to, you know, we got it in written and audio format. And it's going to be in the Santa Barbara Public Library system very soon.
Okay.
But it's a book that really motivates people and really gives them the answer. All the questions you're asking me, the book has the answer. It really does.
Okay.
That was my best way, because it's hard to, in a 1-hour talk show or something. So with a book where I had time to sit down on how to accomplish something, that's what I did. So that was my purpose behind the book.
Great. And now, the game of life is philosophical, in its nature. So, are you spiritually philosophical?
Well, I've had some very unique religious experiences in my life. My father was Jewish, my mother was Catholic. I'm a believer, I'm a Christian. And so I think I upset both of them. Sorry. But anyway, with that said, yeah, I've had some unique religious experiences, very, very unique. And my faith has always kept me very well grounded. Got saved in a Baptist church. Amen, brothers and sisters. But, really, you make decisions in your life, and the spiritual choices that you make, I believe, are the most consequential. And with that said, it really gave me an insight on me personally. Everybody else has different avenues. It worked with me. It has helped me. And with that said, as a result of my spiritual relationship, my relationship with the Creator has helped me to become more philosophical, where I can help people, where I can project truth in a way where it's well received, And people like that, and I thought, the information was what was important. And my friends say, no, Andy, it's you because of what you've been through. So I think, okay, whatever.
Yes.
Whatever works.
You having the experiences that you've had growing up, throughout your life, as well as, what you've experienced. And then you've also accomplished a lot, and you've gotten through it. You've had tremendous adversities, and obviously you have held a healthy self-esteem to keep you rising above it. And
to rise above it. Got to be happy, be happy today.
Yeah.
You just have to. Yeah.
It's a choice,
Yeah.
and people.
It is a choice, and it's a good choice, because, I wouldn't want to make somebody like me mad because, I would want to kick people and stuff,
Right.
I don't want to do that, but
No.
you know what I'm saying. I want to be happy and encouraging and inspirational. Motivate people to do the right thing, and because when I was a kid, look, the things that I went through, I had no. If somebody would have told me you're going to wind up in the World Black Belt Hall of Fame, they're going to put you in the same day as Bruce Lee. You're going to be the feature story for Black Belt magazine, the millennial issue, when they do all the Masters of the Century. You wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, right.
I never believed that I was going to win the Junior Olympic championship in gymnastics. I never believed that I would become a trapeze flyer for the Ringling Show, or meet presidents, or have an audience with the Pope, or meet Neil Armstrong, and have Billy Graham's autograph in my Bible, because I did him a favor. That's another story. But anyway, it was interesting. He wanted to meet with me, and I thought, wow. So things happen in our lives. You relish it, you grab it, you enjoy it. You inspire others, you motivate people, and you enjoy life. And you move on, and you encourage other people, because they never know where they'll wind up someday. Of course, there's some people in some positions now that I'd like to put other people in their positions, never mind that. But, whatever. But it's fun. You just go on, you move on, you get over it, and you rise above it.
Exactly, and that's such a strong message, because you and I are both living proofs that you can go on to succeed through these adversities. You can get through it. You can continue to rise above it.
Yeah.
I attribute a lot of mine through healthy self-esteem, and having that good thoughts and positive attitudes through the worst of it.
Even Einstein said everything is energy related.
Right.
And thought produces mass. Mass produces energy. Thought mass equals energy, which actually produces quantum particle spin. And that actually is good for the body.
And I have that in my book, Rising Above It. However, not that detailed. I put
well, you just got the
simply.
formula.
Exactly.
Literally, that is it, yeah.
So what's in store for you next?
Well, I love to write. I've been asked, to do speaking engagements, which I love to do, and I love kids. Get me in a room full of kids. We have fun. And sometimes I forget that I'm, there for a reason, but I have a lot of fun with them. But I just enjoy doing what I'm doing, and I love to write, and that is really my goal. Because when you write, when you move on and you go to Google Heaven, isn't that amazing? When you die, you're still on Google.
I know.
But anyway, I'd like to get a little higher than that, please. But I enjoy writing, and I am actually working on a third book that's, I've got about 1/3 of it. Who the heck is Andy Wilson? But by doing that, you can really transfer your message. You can give your message. And so my goal really is to write and then, do the speaking engagements, because it's good.
And you can always continue to inspire and motivate people well after you've expired yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely, because you never know who you're going to inspire.
Exactly.
I watched a karate demo when I was just a young kid, and the guy signed the board and gave it to me. Had no idea what I was going to accomplish as a result of him motivating me. Oh, let me pause. I want to cry right now. No, but you see what I mean? It was really a very unique moment. That was a kind of a pivotal moment, unbeknown to me.
Right.
Unbeknown. There's a little black boy that jumped out of a second-story window because he didn't want to fight a guy. Well, that was Martin Luther King. Nobody knew who that was. And the guy told him, when I catch you, I'll kick your butt. And he goes, don't worry, they're going to name a holiday after me. But I mean,
And you just never know.
You never know, man. You never
We just had Martin Luther King Day yesterday.
I know, we just had it, yeah. You never know.
So now let's going back to the religion. Did it confuse you being Catholic and Jewish?
No. Santa Claus is great. Bring the gifts. Please, bar mitzvah and the yummy, all that good stuff. They have the good holidays. One has the good food, the other has the good gifts. But no, it didn't confuse me because the root of one is actually the foundation of the other. The Old Testament and the law, the Ten Commandments. And look, the Jews really got the Ten Commandment thing down, okay? I mean, they really got it. They kind of, in my opinion, this is just me, don't hate me for this, but I love the Jews. I mean, wonderful people. They just missed their Messiah. Like he showed up. All the prophecies, when Christ died, over 300 prophecies were fulfilled on the day that Christ died. So I kind of like, want to follow his program. He's the only one I know of that rose from the dead and went to heaven.
Okay, so you have a strong faith.
Yeah.
And I would attribute that to your success as well? Very
much so, yeah, because you need a faith. I remember in Africa, I was in Ethiopia, Africa, doing my duty over there, and, was, well, never mind all that secret, Army, Navy stuff, but I remember sitting out in front of a church one night, and I was just kind of spinning some weapons, my little nunchucks, my weapons, and I actually prayed one night. I said, Lord, well, a couple nights, quite a number of nights I prayed, but one night I said, Lord, I just want to be good at something. I just want to be the best in the world at something. And I didn't know what I wanted to be, and I was still thinking about it. And here I was spinning my weapons. Well, I want to becoming the best weapons expert in the world. Isn't that funny?
It's
funny
just
how
amazing, and that you set a goal, and you manifested it.
Yeah, you got to set it. Yeah.
And you had it right in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, I know it's funny. I look back, I laugh about that. But you have to have a goal. If you don't have one, get one.
Yeah.
Because when you have a goal, even if you miss, if you aim for the moon, you land among the stars.
Exactly.
I mean, somebody said that somewhere.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
Yeah. Totally, yeah.
And life's a journey. So
yeah, it is.
You can't be too impatient to get to where you need to be, because you have to enjoy the journey as well. And with that said, we have just a few seconds left before we close out the show. I want to thank you for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's been an honor to be in your presence.
Thank you. It's been an honor to be in yours. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
And remember, when